Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Alexandra May's Music Cafe. If you are new here, welcome. Please, can you grab your coffees or your teas or your wine? It's 5 o'clock somewhere. If you are a regular here, welcome back. We've got some really cool guests on this week. So you guys know me. I like to go with the themes. I like to chat to people about similar things. So this week we're going music / directing / cinematography vibes. So we got people from all over the world. Quite literally, we got different time zones here. I'm going to just chuck them all onto the screen. I'm going to introduce them all as they come on. Hey guys, welcome to the show. Okay, I'm going to go like this. So next to me is Anna, and you're from Russia. So I mean, but you're living in the States right now, so you're like, but you said earlier gypsy. Back and forth. Then next to Anna is Simon Holtz, and where you are currently in London.
I am in London, yes.
Amazing, and I still don't understand why it's light outside. I still don't get it. and just underneath is Wesley Elder, and Wesley is in America. Hi, Wes.
Hello.
Nice to see you again. Wes and I actually met here on IBM. Like a week and a half ago?
Something like that. Yeah.
About a couple of weeks back on somebody else's show, and we just got chatting, and I asked him if he'd do me a favor and come on the show. And he did. Thank you.
Happy to be here.
Over here is Richard Gower. Hi, Richie.
Hello.
From South Africa.
I am from Johannesburg.
From Johannesburg. We literally have like people from all over the world, and I think that's amazing that through, even though there's this pandemic in the world right now, we are still somehow we're still able to be connected and encourage each other and just keep up, sort of stay connected, because I find that we have to practice social distancing, but I don't necessarily agree with that word, social distancing. I think it should be physical distancing, but socially we should still be connecting, still encouraging, still talking to each other. So thank you so much for being on the show today, guys, and for talking to our people about what y'all do. So I want to start, and I love saying this because I find it hilarious. I'm going to start with ladies first, naturally.
Aww.
Anna, can you please give me a hashtag Tinder bio of what you do, just leading up to the point where you are now? What have you done in the past and leading up to where you are now? Hashtag Tinder bio, quick little intro, what you do, so people watching, they know who you are.
Sure. So I'm a director, the theater and the movie director, and because I don't believe personally that I'm at the point in my career where I'm ready to come out in the world with my own movies and stuff, I work for more mature directors and help them. So I'm running the set and mostly working as resident director on different productions. And that's all I do, I believe.
I have to be honest, I can't wait to get into because when I read your bio, it literally said other projects took place in Moscow, and I'm like, we must find out about this. I can't wait to find out more about this. And some films, I mean, I did some research on the films. They look epic. So I really can't wait to find out. And also being a woman in the industry. I mean, I don't want to go full on in that space, but it is so relevant being a woman in the industry. I want to find out a bit where your headspace is at, and also working with
I'll tell you everything I know.
I'm so excited. I love that. Amazing. Okay, I'm going to hop over Anna. And then Simon, can you also please give our viewers just a hashtag Tinder bio intro of who you are?
I'm a musical director and pianist, so that's pretty much all I do. Only working for the Lloyd Webber. I normally work for the Lloyd Webber company, so that's pretty much what I've done for 10 years.
That is amazing. And I mean, I grew up with, my sister Isabella Jane, and we've grown up.
I do.
With musical theater, and it's like quite literally in our bones. And like we were watching the other night, we watched Jophus. It's not Joseph, it's Jophus. We were watching Jophus on TV. And then I think we missed Cats because I had something else on. And what was before that? Phantom of the Opera. He's doing all the on TV.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's in my bones, and I want to find out what it's been like for you to work in those major, life-changing sort of productions. I think that's incredible. Such an honor to be talking to you. Sort of just touch some magic. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. And then Wesley over there. Wes and I met a couple of weeks ago, and you're such a rad person. You've done everything when it comes to acting, writing, filming. I mean, just producing all of it. Can you please give also our viewers just a hashtag Tinder bio of who you are?
For sure. I hope I get to keep doing more stuff, but yeah. So my name is Wesley, whatever people prefer. And I act, write, produce. Producing really fuels the acting and the writing, because I learned pretty quick that I was a scrawny, awkward dude, and so there aren't a ton of roles for that. So started writing and producing, making my own projects to put myself in it, and then also make stuff with friends. So yeah, I enjoy. I mean, I've got a few movies out there in the world that I've been a part of in different capacities, and have projects that we want to pitch. And then right now, in the past 2 weeks, we've been learning how to make a video game. So I don't even know what that's about. So we'll see if we start doing that, because we can make that during the quarantine while I can't really shoot stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
True.
That's the short bio.
The short Tinder bio.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and we've spoken a bit online, and I obviously love your work, and you know that I love your films. I watch them. I binge and everything.
Thanks.
And I mean, when I read that you're looking at like doing the video games and everything, I mean, I thought that's brilliant. I mean, it doesn't have to don't you have to code and like do like those sort of things to do video games? It's like a whole nother.
Right.
Is it a whole other thing, or is it very similar to doing films?
Well, no, it's very different. Like we're looking at using Unity. You got a few different software programs, and Unity. There's Unity and Unreal Engine, which are the two biggest ones. And so Unity it's complicated, but within 2 days we had made like a short little demo thing that we were able to put it on the computer and an Xbox and test it. So we kind of want to make something that's like 4 hours long and very heartfelt, kind of a Pixar vibe, but in a video game. And story, like we want stories like our thing. Story's king. And so in the video games, that gets sacrificed a lot. But it's something that we can do right now while we wait. And it's something that we can have action items on when we kind of get burnt out on just writing, if that makes sense.
Right.
So
no, that's cool. And I'd love to dive into that as well. Sort of what you've been busy with during COVID-19, how you've kept busy, all those projects. So that's going to be fun to get to. But then we got to get to Richard. I want to do this one day. Hi, Richard.
Hi.
Do you want to give our viewers a hashtag Tinder bio of who you are?
Okay, well, hi, my name is Richard Gao. I've been working in musical theater for the last 9 years. I work on stage. So I've been in a couple of productions. That's where I met these two. I met them on Evita, the international tour. I was alternate McGoldie. And then I've actually done Joseph. I played Joseph before. But more recently, just before this, I booked a feature film, which is actually the reason that I have this lovely mustache.
Looks great.
I'm playing a detective. So hopefully when COVID ends, we can get onto set and start creating.
Right.
But so I'm a musical theater guy, but I also run my own YouTube channel. Very much like Wes is doing, I aspire to do that, to create and to write my own films and just create and put that out into the world.
No, that is amazing, and I love what you've done with You Can Stash as well. Sort of combining the music side, the fun, getting to know an artist, a person, and then also the design. Did you if you haven't seen, go and Google You Can Stash. It's Richard's sort of COVID project essentially.
Yeah.
Did you build that intro and everything? That like little walking mustache? Did you build them and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I had the idea, but I didn't know the technical know-how to create those animations.
Right.
So I actually hired a person, oh my gosh, I think they were from Pakistan, on Fiverr, and he did an amazing job and created that intro for me.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Well, guys, thank you so much for giving your bio. I mean, I don't know. I get excited about this sort of thing, and I sort of fangirl over everybody. So forgive me if I fangirl too much. It's terrible. But I want to start with Simon, because I want to jump to you. You said you're a pianist, and like, that's all you do. That's all you do. Sure. I mean, but you have worked with some absolute legends like Hal Prince. I mean, my sister talks about him and the other people around him all the time. Have you actually have you actually sat in rooms and like worked with these sort of men and these people? And what was that sort of experience?
I haven't worked with Hal, unfortunately. I did actually
do. I read that wrong.
No, it's his production, but it's actually Dan Cutner, who is or was Hal's assistant. I did Evita in Australia, and Hal was supposed to come out to direct it, but he was 91 or something, so everyone was a bit concerned about his health. So he didn't. Yeah, so he didn't.
And it's a long flight.
It is a long flight. But that's where I met Dan and Anna. In Australia, and then a year later I was appointed as the MD of the show in the China tour, and that's where I sort of again worked closely with Dan, and we were actually rehearsing in South Africa, and that's when Hal died. So unfortunately I never actually got to meet him, but I did actually very recently, actually in February, I went to New York and managed to persuade Dan to let me into his office, and so I've actually been in Hal's office, and that's the closest I'll ever get. So, yeah.
That is incredible, though. And to work on those sort of productions, I mean, it must be huge pressure, because you're recreating magic. And I know that this last Evita was going back to the roots of, am I right saying the original Evita written back in the 70s? Am I right in saying that?
That's correct, yeah.
What was like recreating that? I know they added one or two songs from more recent versions, but what was it like sort of recreating that magic?
It's wonderful. The actual person probably to ask would actually be Richard, because he was actually in the recreation of it in South Africa. Yeah. So he would probably be more. I by the time I got to it was version 2, and then China was version 3. So, but Richard was there at version 1, where they were actually piecing it all back together. So he's the one to ask about that. I just kept regurgitating what I'd already been taught.
Oh, I see. Okay. Well, then I'm going to ask Richard, when it comes to recreating that magic. Hey, Richie. When it comes to recreating that magic, because I don't know about you, but I grew up with the Madonna version movie, and the music, and then going back to the original. I mean, the rake stage, and it was a whole nother going back to the original in the 70s. What was that like for you? Because you were also you studied McGuldie. And then you also were you did a whole lot of dancing. Am I right? Dancing as well.
Yeah, I was. My track was ensemble, and then alternate McGuldie. I can only speak of the experience being one of the actors on stage, because obviously, we were actually very fortunate. King Jordan, who was our choreographer, she'd been in the show since she was a little baby. She started in the show as one of the little kids singing to Ava, and she grew up with the show. She played the mistress before. She'd been in the ensemble. She was a dancer girl, and then she progressed to associate, and then she became the choreographer of the show. And she's taught it throughout the world through different versions. So that was really incredible. And we also had the original set designer, I believe, costume designer.
Yes. Right. Okay. I remember Bella telling me about this as well.
Yeah, he came out and he recreated the same type of feel that they had in the original version. And then, like Simon said, we were really fortunate enough to have Dan come across from New York, and having worked so personally and so closely with Hal Prince, it was a real treat to hear someone speak of the passion that Hal had and the rest of the team had for the creation of Evita.
Yeah.
So it was like we were doing it for the first time. It was amazing.
That's incredible. And then I know, Anna, you then also joined in 2019 as well, the China tour as well. You also hopped on.
Yeah.
You were the resident director, am I right?
Yep.
So what
that's
was it like
correct.
joining that cast? What was it like joining, obviously that's also now 2.0, and joining that, and also being, can I just ask, being a woman in that space, did you feel any challenges, or was it like just stepping into shoes and just going, you just did your job?
Well, I actually personally have been sort of following, fan stalking the show since the Evita Point one. Because I saw you guys, I believe, in Japan and in Hong Kong, and then I was in Australia, where I was sort of a spectator of the process with the Australian cast. So by the time I get into an action, I was pretty familiar with the concept. I fell in love with this show forever, because I don't believe there is a person who ever seen this show and said, yeah, it's fine, moving on. No, this stays with you. This is type of art that stays with you. To all the fans of Madonna, I'm sorry for saying this in the internet, but unlike movie for me. But yeah, it's just the type of the show where the concept clashing with the actual talent on stage and in the pit creates something that elevates you, for the whole duration of the show, and you're losing like everything, and you're just there. And to answer your another question of being working as a woman, well, first of all, Evita is the woman energy driven show, I would say. And I think it takes a huge talent of all the men standing behind it who created it, because they all work together. The director, the lighting designer, the choreographer, the like musical director, everybody, the composer, everybody came together and created something that made me personally pretty comfortable to be surrounded by, and be the one who is sort of helping to keep this story going, because that's the part for those of you who don't know what it is to be a resident director. It's to basically maintain the show, because that's something that is going on for months, and you sort of doing the different type of work every day. You're just there. And yeah, it's fantastic. And actually, the huge shout out to the whole international team and South African cast for the support that they gave me, because that was my first international experience. So not only talking about being woman, being but there is something about being a woman in any profession. What I strongly believe in, it's if you know your craft, if you know what you're talking about, then you will never have problem with like being anybody in any world, because there is something standing like behind you that you're actually using to express yourself.
You've got a real foundation to stand on. Real knowledge.
Yeah, but the biggest challenge was to be in first time, because everybody usually comes to me, like all the international people coming to Russia, and I deal with them. Now that was the first time, then it was the other way around, and I thank everybody, because it was fantastic in terms of support and like the rules, how it like everybody used to different things. So yeah, thank you.
No. I read, and I love that you say that it's a project that's gonna stay with you. Obviously for a number of reasons. But I actually want to ask. I'd like to ask Wes, when it comes to your career building up to where it is now. I mean, you are a producer, a writer, an actor. Has there been a project in the beginning of your career that sort of was just a taste of what the real world is like, that gave you that oomph, that gave you that love for what you do now? Was there ever that project in the beginning?
Yeah, there was the first film I ever did, definitely, because I was very fortunate that I auditioned for this movie. It was called Uncommon. It's kind of a crappy movie. It's not a good movie, but
since being honest,
yeah, it's not a good movie. But I got cast in it in a pretty large role, and it was a pretty legit production. And so I think total shooting days was like 26 or something. And so, like, I got for my first film ever a really good look at what a pretty legit production looked like. Like
Sure.
I didn't. A lot of actors might do like a bunch of student films for a while and then some short films and like, but I was very fortunate that my first film ever was a feature, and it was pretty legit. So like right off the bat, I kind of had a personal expectation of myself of like, all right, this is the standard that I kind of want to hold myself to, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Which isn't always great, because then the perfectionist part of you can get the best of you and make you not do stuff that maybe you should, because it can grow you in other ways. But yeah, I would say like the very first film I ever did was definitely the moment where I was like, yeah, this is sweet. Because my favorite part is being on set. And I think that's a lot of the creative's favorite part, is they want to be in the moment, making the stuff, being creative. And all the other pieces that come into it just kind of are extra work to do the stuff that you really, really love. So
right. So then when did producing and writing come into play? Or has it always been a trend for you that you've always had like a diary or books that you just sort of have piled up? So when did that start? Right.
So I got into acting because I studied in Argentina for a year and a half. And I didn't grow up in the arts at all. Actually, I wanted to be a dentist. And then
that's art.
Yeah, I wanted to be a dentist. And then when I was 19, I studied in Argentina. And I had this really random opportunity to be a part of this touring musical theater show. And I was like, sure, because I was able to travel Argentina more through that show, and it kind of seemed like fun. Just seemed like fun, but it was nothing I had ever done. And then after that, I was like, man, this is really fun. Actually, I really enjoyed this. And then I came back to the States, and I began to teach myself more about it, just try and learn. And so then I did the first movie that I auditioned for. I did that. And then after that, I got an agent, and I was doing a lot of auditions, but I wasn't really booking anything, which, to be fair, I also wasn't super great. I've grown a lot since then, but I kind of was like, all right, you know what? We need to do this, and I do something, because I became really good friends with the cinematographer and the first AC on that first movie, Corey and Caleb Vetter. And then, like, I think it was 2 or 3 months after we did that first movie that we were like, all right, let's make a movie. Us 3. Corey, you'll shoot it. Caleb, you'll direct it. And Wes, you'll act in it. And let's shoot it in like the spring. And then we just buckled down and started writing a script. And we didn't shoot it in the spring. We shot it like a year and a half later.
Right.
But then that became the matchbreaker. And then.
Oh, wow. And so that was that project that it turned into something. I mean, you are on Netflix, you're on Amazon Prime right now. Am I right? You're still on Amazon?
Yeah, it's on Amazon. I think it's on Tubi TV too, which is like another streaming service. And then it's for rent, like anywhere.
That is amazing.
You can pirate it.
Absolutely amazing. No. We'll go with the Amazon thing.
We've pulled it down from YouTube a lot.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, the very first movie that I did turned into the good friends that I ended up making that movie with. So.
No, that's very cool. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to hold you for 2 seconds, because my sister's talking on this live chat next to us, and she desperately wants to come on. Hey, Belle.
Hi, Bella.
She's like, bring me on. Hello. Hey, Belle. Oh my goodness! Just so people know who this is. This is my little sister Isabella Jane. She's a bit of a regular here. I just sort of send her a link and I say, "Pop in if you feel like popping in," and she pops in.
And I wanted to pop in today. My friends are on today.
On today, which is really cool. Bella, will you? I know you've just come off a live. Were you doing a comedy live? Am I right? With who?
I was doing with Pius Zulu on Instagram. I was headlining, that's why I was a bit late. So it's very cool.
Where's Zoe?
Rosie.
Rosie, Zoe. Why Zoe? Rosie. I know
her.
Right. I met her.
Please, my goodness.
She is here. She is here.
Okay.
Well, if she'd like to, I'd love to bring her out in a minute. But Bella, will you just give if somebody is new here, we just give them a little Tinder bio of who you are and what you do.
Okay, so I had an unsuccessful time on Tinder, so I quit. I'm it's very bad. Isabella Jane. I write songs. I make music. I try and make people laugh. I do ventriloquism. I've done musical theater, and I do entertainment for children 3 times a week on all social media platforms during lockdown. And of course, Anna. I do my entertainment is purely directed at Anna.
Yes. No, we can tell. Well, I think it's just very interesting because we were just telling Wes was just telling us about the first project he worked on when it came to the writing and producing side of things, and then it became the matchbreaker, which is we spoke about it the other night, you and me, Belle. And I think, Bella, you've now started your own weekly. You've got like 3 weekly episodes. So when it comes to now the prep behind that, you are used to the stage thing. You toured with Evita for 3 years since you were 18 to 21. Am I right? So you've been doing that. You've been doing comedy live on stage, which is a whole nother toolbox. And when it comes to prep for comedy and ventriloquism, it's a whole nother skill. And then on top of that, you also work with kids occasionally, which is another layer. But now you're working virtually. You're not able to actually communicate with people literally. You have to sort of work with the energy you create around you. What has been the shift for you when it comes to prep and writing, preparing for those episodes?
Well, it's been a whole mind verbal shift on how I communicate, because a lot of performing, and I know most of us know this, has a lot to do with the audience reaction. So I've kind of had to tap into the idea of what I learned with musical theater, where it doesn't matter what the audience are doing. This is the script. This is what you do. So it doesn't matter on the reaction. Whereas with comedy, it's all about the reaction. So to somehow put the mindset of comedy into the mindset of musical theater, of it doesn't matter that no one's responding to me, that I have to mentally just carry on with what I'm doing. Also having to communicate with children and little ones in particular, of finding a language that they understand, that they can relate to. I have to do everything, has to be clean and has to be good. The parents have to okay all of the things. But it's been really cool because it's gotten a great response and I've gotten some really cool feedback. So it's been lovely developing that side of life and developing a space which I've never been given the opportunity really to do. Because my whole goal is to have like an Ellen TV show, and it's now I've been forced to develop those skills which I've never developed before. So
no, and I think that's incredible, because I never thought at the beginning of COVID-19, we're currently in lockdown here in South Africa. We've been on lockdown for 52 days, which is just it's longer than you think.
No, but it's not only that, it's you can't buy alcohol, so that's
which is real.
I know.
I love Simon's face. No, and I never thought at the beginning of this that firstly it would be this long, and then you just thought going into it, it's 3 weeks. You just sort of put things on hold, and you'll carry on with life, and you book your gigs afterward, and then lockdown started creeping over those gigs that you'd booked in real life. I've literally gone through 2 weeks of gigs now because of lockdown, and it's a different mindset that you've got to just get into when it comes to actually building your career in lockdown. We've got to reinvent ourselves almost. So Richard, I know I want to chat to you about that, because you've created a future, you've created a challenge, a game you can stash, and now of course you've put this feature film on hold, and which is the reason for the moustache. So can you just quickly tell us about your mindset when it comes to almost I don't want to use the word recreating yourself, because it's such an ugly thing to say, but we almost have to in this time. Where have you been in that space?
Well, it's been very interesting, because most of my work up until now has been live entertainment, and because of social distancing and group gatherings, they've all been cancelled across the world. Basically, our industry is shut down. So either we head online, or we try and concentrate on other skills, on leveling up on other skills, like Wes with his writing and all of that. That's something that I'm sure a lot of writers are spending time on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've been quite lucky because about a year ago I started my YouTube channel, and I've been concentrating more on like vlogs because I wanted to get to that director level, the director levels. I wanted to learn more about how the interaction with the camera and the storytelling and how you can use those tools to create the narrative that you're looking for. So I started that. So during this lockdown period, it was I wouldn't say it was like a seamless transition, but it seemed like the natural next thing to do to try and grow that channel, to try and offer more content, to try and offer relevant content that people can enjoy.
That's true. No, and I think it's definitely been a challenge for me when it comes to my career. And has it been a real challenge, or is it just get on and do it? This is just the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like everyone in this chat room, like we've all had jobs that have been cancelled. And I mean, the hope is that they haven't been cancelled, they've been postponed.
Sure.
But yeah, it's been really tricky to try and, I mean, I've even started studying online to be an English teacher because like you never know where the next gig is going to come from. So it's all about trying to create this idea of multiple streams of income at the moment. And it's really, really tricky. And especially when you're like, from my point of view, when you're starting out a YouTube channel, it's still in its infancy and it doesn't really have that much of a following. So you're not earning money off of it. You can't really monetize on, small numbers. So it's really challenging to try and find where that next paycheck is going to come from.
Sure. No, I totally understand that. And then Simon, what have you been doing now during lockdown? Because I mean, you've been on the go, music director here and there. I mean, just what have you been doing now? Have you been working, or have you been composing? What have you been doing during lockdown?
I wish.
Coronavirus
I've
time.
been doing a lot of watching television and Netflix. Because of any gig I sort of wanted to apply for or wanted to go for, the industry is just non-existent at the moment. And so we all just have to stop. And I've resisted putting on live shows and performances and stuff like that. I thought I'm just going to have a little break. So I have, and I've just been, as I said, watching lots of television, doing a little bit of reading, some writing. I've been doing some work with a friend of mine in Paris, basically just proofreading, and just getting out. Luckily, we're heading into summer in London, so the weather's improving, so I've gone out pretty much every day for a walk or something like that. So very little arty stuff, I'm afraid.
No, I come on IBM quite often, just to sort of during the week to promo the Sunday show, and often we bring up the importance of actually taking a break. We don't actually realize that, and I think I sort of spent the first couple of weeks not knowing that lockdown was going to be extended, actually taking that break. I was supposed to be in Nashville, and I was like, I've actually got no gigs booked for this time period. I'm going to literally just write a couple of songs if I feel like it and watch Netflix, because we deserve that. We need that. And and then you get into this cycle that you feel like you need to be contributing, need to be doing something. And I've seen lots of posts on Instagram that people are just going crazy. I don't know what to do. I need to be doing stuff. And then there's the total opposite, and they feel guilty, and everybody's feeling backward. But the reality is, we're in a totally different world right now. This isn't the normal. This isn't the norm. And we have to take a minute to realize that we're all somewhat grieving for something. We are grieving in some way, going through the 5 steps. We're all under pressure. We're all stressed. We don't know when we're going to be doing our next job. And so I do think it is important to actually sit back, go for a walk outside, because it still looks so beautiful outside. Oh my goodness. I'm just looking out your window. Go for a walk, eat cake, drink coffee, drink some wine. Anna, have you got something else? What are you drinking, Anna?
Well, I'm currently, you tell me, what am I drinking?
It's water.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Not the other thing that everybody who with the stereotypes about Russian people. But yeah, I mean, water is great, and summer is amazing. Summer really helps, and I do believe that we all are now trying to find out how to manage to because it gets to me sometimes the whole idea, because I've been in self-isolation because we actually are allowed to at least go out and go to the park, but just keep your distance, and all of that is fine. But I'm so freaking out about oh my god, what if I'm putting everybody in danger, or my family or people outside or anything. And first time I went out for a jog, the woman was coming on the sidewalk with a stroller at me, and I was so I don't know, I was just stopped in the moment by the fact that I have to do something. I have to get out of her way. But because I haven't been out for so long, I'm I just stood there, and she was like, all right. And she just, with her stroller, went around me with the distance. I'm like, oh my God, I'm an idiot. And why am I doing this? But stuff like that drives me crazy pretty much, because I'm very cautious about everybody, and meeting your neighbors and being like, hi, I don't hate you, but I'm not coming out of my it's just all I personally need to calm down. So if you find yourself in a place like that you're not alone, I'm with you mentally. But other than that, it's pretty much, I believe that a lot of people are fortunate enough to actually be able to stay safe and not to being put in the position of okay, I have nothing, to feed my family with, so I have to keep going. And we can just be grateful for that time, and to unwind ourselves a little bit, and just that's the essence of life. We have no idea when it's going to end, how it's going to end, what's going to happen next. So I mean, I'm actually inspired a lot by, you guys who are creating and still keep the drive and writing and thinking, because now, especially when we're all watching Netflix and YouTube had to drop the quality of the streaming because so many people are actually in need for content. I hope I'll get there, and also contribute in some way to inspiration for the people, because that's pretty much all that helps, and all we need to go on. Just a little bit of inspiration from somebody else to just let us know that we're not alone, and we are not.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I have mentioned it before, but I believe that as creatives, that we almost sort of lead the way when it comes to inspiration. We lead the way when it comes to those things, because it's a talent, it's a gift that we have as creators, as creatives, and to be able to use that and to inspire people is something that we shouldn't take lightly. So I agree with that. We should use what we have to inspire.
Yeah, if that's not the reason to be in arts, then probably one shouldn't be in arts.
I agree. And where you are right now, are you on strict or quarantine? What are your rules right now?
No, actually, everything has started opening back up. So
really, that's nice.
Yeah, May 15th was technically the end of lockdown officially where I'm at, and I mean, even then it was you leave the house and I hit the interstate and I'm like, there's still a lot of people out here.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like people were taking it seriously here. So I mean, I think a lot of places have opened up dine-in restaurants. One of our local places we go to.
Right.
Went there the other day, and you can sit in there now and eat. But they had chairs on top of tables where you couldn't sit, and so they had it also turned out to where distance and everything.
Keep it distance,
so, yeah. But my favorite meme in this whole thing was I was totally fine with being at home, but now that I'm told I have to stay at home, I kind of want to leave.
Yeah.
That's the same. We told you, and then you want to do the opposite. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I was like, I was totally fine with being at home, but now I kind of want to leave it since I can't.
I found with me that I found that quarantine is no different to my real life, except for leaving for gigs in the evening, occasionally on the odd weekend, whatever.
Yeah.
But quarantine's been no different from my real life. This is my normal life. I do this all the time. I just said, I'm very happy to do it. But the fact that I'm not allowed to go outside, that changes it. That changes it. So I agree with you. That's very funny.
For sure.
Well, I think that we should use some creativeness in this music cafe, and we should put some music through people's ears. What do you say, Rich?
Me.
Yeah.
All right, I'm up.
Okay, Rich, you grab your guitar, and I'm going to explain to people what we're doing. So there's a thing in Nashville called Writers Round. So in LA and in New York, you get like open mics, and in Nashville, you get Writers Rounds everywhere, every single bar, every single day of the week, all hours, and it's 3 or 4 guys or girls sitting on stage, and they're all plugged in, they're all live, and they each sing an original in turn for the hour, and then when they're done, the next guys get on. So I have my own event here in South Africa, but I thought I want to bring that Writers Round taste, the feel, the fun, the music to the chat room. So Richard, you've done these before, so I'm entrusting you to start off the Writers Round.
Thanks. Well, I mean, in honor of our 2 guests over there and over there. So I've been working on a show. It's one of my bucket list things to write a musical. So I'm going to play you the opening number of the show. It's from a busker. He's sitting on the side of the road, and he's contemplating his life and how he fits into it, and why we all need validation, and why we all crave validation, and how we give and receive it. So it goes like this. A breath in the light doesn't mean you're alive. Walk down the street, no guarantee you'll be seen. Write it on the wall. Dreams sold on billboards. The best place to hide, lose yourself in plain sight. Shake hands with the man you're not seeing, understand. No, you know you don't have to be told. Now you're numb from the cold. The noise that I make, the biggest mistake, being loud, being fake. It's true you don't see what's not your reality. The best thing in life could be in front of your eyes. The noise is there to be heard. Each moment you spend on this earth, even blood gets replaced. Ghosts we drown in the race. Always wanna be first, only sung the 3rd verse. Deny or validate. We choose, but do we choose to let all the noise that we make, destined to make mistakes, being loud, being fake, yeah. Thanks. That was called Noise.
Yay!
And Anna's got a banana. I love
Yeah.
it. Thank you, Richard. So you've clearly been working and writing this musical during lockdown. That's amazing.
I have. Yeah, I'm actually currently at 38 pages of the book, and about 17 songs. So I still got a bit of a way to go. But yeah, it's
well done.
finding it.
It's incredible.
Thank you
Where
very much.
did you get the energy for all that stuff?
That's a good question.
Can you send me some, please?
Yeah. I will.
Oh my goodness.
I will. I'll try my best.
Anna, please can I ask, because I think it's important now that you've brought him into the picture.
Yes.
Can you
This
please
guy?
tell me about Mr. Banana?
Well, this is my partner in crime. Very important thing. Big traveler. Part of who I am, actually, by many means, because just there are people who like chew on the towel when they're very nervous in the corner or something. So that's my version of doing that. I just feel like I think I try to get as far as possible, because I'm turning 30 this year, and I know all of you young kids in the room don't know the struggle, but believe me, yeah, it gets to me as well. A lot of things gets to me today. So yeah, I'm just like, pink hair, stupid makeup. I'm very not serious, and it also confuses people a lot because of the nature of my job, because then I'm start speaking seriously or something is happening, and it's that kind of thing, and they're like, something is like wrong here. And probably I just love to send mixed signals out to the universe.
No, I love that. I think that's important. I'm not gonna lie, I think that's important. Yes.
Keeps it
want
interesting.
yes, definitely. I just because Rich has brought up he's writing this musical, and just it sort of made me think like when is the industry gonna open up? Because we're currently on level 4 in South Africa. We have to go down 3, 2, 1, 0. We don't know when bars are gonna open for live music. We don't know when like the theater world's gonna open up and all that.
Well, we're gonna be the last, definitely in line.
Like the last thing on the list. That's my feeling.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, I'm thinking like with Richard's project, it would be a shame that it would miss. It needs to get out there one day. Definitely, as soon as lockdown's over, it needs to get out there. But you can still do things online, and we've obviously had chats about those little things. But I mean, Simon, where do you think after lockdown, do you think the industry is going to take like a huge hit, or do you actually think that people are craving live people entertainment? All of that. Do you think people are craving that they'll actually just rush to the theaters?
I think they are, but unfortunately, we're sort of limited by what the government will allow us to do. So there's a lot of talk over here about, even Cameron McIntosh came out and said it last week. That basically, we won't be able to open until next year, because you'll have to have so many gaps between seats, and you will it's just not viable. Plus there's also all the people backstage as well. There's the actors on stage, there's the orchestra, there's a lot of stuff that needs to be taken into consideration, and until there's either a vaccine or until we're guaranteed that it's safe, I think it will be impossible, whether regardless people want. I mean, obviously people do want to come to the theater. I mean, I would love to go back to the theater to work and to also to watch, but I won't be allowed to.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in there and ask Simon a question? The Phantom of the Opera is still running in Korea. Is that not something that we should take the lead off of the rest of the world, and to try and implement some of their protocol?
Absolutely. Andrew Lloyd Webber himself actually has apparently written to one of our MPs over here and said, if you take that approach, which I think that they do deep cleans every day, they do. It's very controlled, I suppose, but that's what South Korea does. They're very hands-on and very controlling to a point, but there's also a lot of respect from the public. So they're like, okay, this is what we have to do, so we will do it. And I think it's the only country in the world where there's shows still going on. But that's because they listened to their governments, and they respected their governments enough to listen to what they had to do, and they've done it, and they're paying a lot of attention to how to control it. And I don't know what they are doing in terms of an audience during a show. I don't know if there's gaps between seats.
I heard
don't
there's not. They just insist on everyone having masks the whole show.
Well, that's the other thing. If everyone wears a mask, then there's a lot less ability for it to spread.
Yeah.
But I mean, in throughout Asia, throughout East Asia, they're used to wearing masks when they're sick. I mean, that ideology, that way of living has been for as long as I've known it. Whereas over us here in the West, to wear a mask is something, what have you got? Whereas over there, it's like I'm protecting everybody by wearing my mask, and it's a very normal way of life over there. And if everybody's wearing one, then I'm sure it's all going to be, a lot safer.
Yeah, and I think I just want to hop on what you just said, because it's very true that they wear masks to protect everyone else, and everyone kept thinking that I must protect myself, I must wear the gloves, put on the mask so I can protect myself. But actually it's about, if you've got it, that's fine. You've got it. We can deal with it to the best of our ability. Obviously, circumstances depending and all that. But the point is to not give it to other people. And not a lot of people actually put that in their brains. As soon as I did that, I started wearing my whole, the way I went out, how I conducted myself outside changed completely. So I think that's a message that we definitely need to get through. And also, we've got a comment here. We can wear hoop skirts for distancing.
Yeah.
I'll look fabulous in a hoop skirt.
You will.
I actually saw this one picture that this coffee shop insisted that all their patrons wear these hats that had pool noodles on them.
Yeah.
So they had pool noodles around them just to make sure that they kept the social distancing regulations.
I've seen a little
And we can
pre-primary
finally
school having having little helicopters on their heads. So that's a little helicopter.
That's fancy, but that will also help us get rid of that terrible social habit to kiss each other on the cheeks, regardless of whether you want it or not when you enter the room. So I hope this will die after this pandemic.
I hate that. It's my worst.
It's like, it's weird. Yeah, it's just weird. People, please
Unless
stop
I love
doing
you.
that. Unless, yes, but if I love you, I'll do that to you.
Then you will know.
And be the first.
We will
Like,
have
I just don't want to do it to everybody. I'm sorry.
Oh my goodness. I totally agree with you. And no offense to people watching, if you are a hugger, if you are a kisser, that's fine.
No. If you're that excited in life that literally every person you see you want to kiss, then be it. If you're that, but you must be a rare creature. It can't be a norm.
You're great. I think
let's start the movement.
Okay, well, Bella, would you like to be the next person in the writers' round? Would you like to just do us a little song?
Sure. I don't know which one to do though. I prepared two. I don't know which one to do.
Do one of the two.
Yeah. Whoa, 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 whoa. Staring in an honest mirror, suddenly I see things clearer, vulnerable and exposed, stripped down but fully clothed. Both hands around my waist, a gentle touch, a strong embrace. You're cold as ice, warm as spring. You sing a song I wanna sing. The unknown, it scares me and it petrifies me. You're unknown and you scare me and you petrify me. I was sad in my grave, and then I heard you say, keep your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground. Whoa, 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 whoa. Spinning round and round, uncontrolled, I hit the ground, paralyzed, crying eyes, gray clouds and endless skies. Both hands around my face, a gentle touch, a strong embrace. You're cold as ice, warm as spring. You sing a song I wanna sing. The unknown, it scares me and it petrifies me.
Oh my goodness. I'm one of those people that I love my baby sister, and I'm so proud that when did you get into songwriting, Bella? When did you get into songwriting?
Well, I mean, I wrote a great song called I Feel Like I'm Stuck in the Ocean when I was about like 8. But then I took a big gap, I took a gap. It was a creative holiday really for my mind. And I took it more seriously when I went to Tokyo. So I was about 19 years old.
That's great. And you're now 21. So, I mean, yeah. And
not that long.
And you've come with me to Nashville and you sung your songs at Right in Nashville. And I mean, people loved your music and I'm just so proud. I love it. I love what you do, Belle.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I want to hop to Anna Quicksticks because I want to get into when it comes to the Simon. I want to get into your filming, the filming side of the camera side of your career. And can you please tell me about I see that there's 2 projects were they both done in Moscow? Am I right? Both projects were done in
Moscow and whereabouts. So like around Moscow, tiny city next to something like that. So pretty much there.
Yeah. And what was it like? What was it like being in that scene? I mean, is it totally different from being in the musical theater scene, or is it's just a different room?
Well, that's actually interesting because 2 things that I like the most about being in both worlds, theater and movies, is first thing is that in theater you're like in the moment, you're present, everything is happening right there. There's no perfect shot, there is no takes, there's no like all of that is happening, and but on set you're actually able to achieve that through blood and tears and hours of waiting usually, and everybody's being sort of in a zone because it's not easy always. Everything has to come together. I have no idea who actually said this, but I do believe strongly that this is what creating movies is like, is imagine you're a painter, you have a giant paintbrush and 80 people holding it, and you're painting a picture across the street on the wall, but they're holding this giant paintbrush, 80 people. Okay. And somehow through them and through all of that, you need to create your painting. So that's totally different. And I don't know, Wes, maybe you will agree or disagree with me. Depending on your experience. But
I usually think of it as like baking a cake. I'm like, I need a lot of ingredients to make this cake really good.
Yeah, and like you have sometimes, well, you're supposed to actually, I'm that person on set that's supposed to have control over every blueberry and frosting, be delivered on time and be in perfect condition and all of that. But when you find yourself in the moment on the set, you're shooting outside, you need a sunny day and it's raining, or vice versa, that kind of creativity that comes in. So you can be a perfect manager, and very rich person, and make it all happen, prepared it like all in the pre-production, and because your movie needs to be ready when you come to on set. Everything you need to know, you need to figure out everything before. Yeah. When you started, life comes in, steps in and dictates sometimes the circumstances, the new, or actors come up with something live, and it's fantastic, or weather is terrible, or somebody is late and you can't find them, or I don't know, anything can happen. And that crisis, when you have to solve everything right here, right now, it's pretty much same, like theater people will relate, I'm sure, when like the show is on in 2 minutes and something is not happening the way it should be. Right. But this is like more often happens in theater. That's outrageous, that's outstanding, and like consequences are more hard on stuff like that. But on set, it's just that is like you're an octopus, yet you don't have enough hands, so it's like it's interesting.
Yeah. I have a friend who he actually says that filming, like production, is his least favorite part of the process because it's the one part that he has to compromise on usually. Like he can have it written and have his ideas perfect going into it and everything, and he has full control in post-production. He can do whatever he wants there, but then when it comes to shooting it, that's where he has to compromise a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And so it's his least favorite part, which I'm like, okay.
But it takes a great mind on side of the team, and a great creator, a great artist as a director who basically signs his name, across and all over the movie in the end of the day, because nobody's going to blame the production manager. Nobody's going to blame first assistant director. Everybody's going to blame the director. And that clash also of like you relying on your team and me in this position, providing this team to an artist who I understand his thoughts, his wishes, and his ideas. That makes this process, which a lot of people hate, for me, actually, that like keeps me alive. That's what I miss so much right now, because this is what I'm like good at, and that's what I do. That's what I love doing. Just solve problems. So if you have any problems, guys, my number is I'm just happy to help, because I'm like literally I solved all the problems of my family and friends. They hate me. They locked me in the room. So please find me and let me solve your problems.
Well, luckily, I think you'll see film productions coming back pretty soon.
I know. In Russia, actually, we're already able to shoot, but I'm not able to travel, so I'm kind of lucky.
I think you'll see a lot of indie movies. I think you'll see a lot of indie productions, and you'll see some skill.
That's very good. Do you think that would be a really cool thing for the industry to start seeing those independent movies coming out?
Absolutely. So many giant names started as. I just recently read about Francois Truffaut. I'm going to be a little, that's for my university. Yes, I've learned people from my teachers. I did listen to like fantastic, names from that particular name is huge for French cinema, and like, of course, the worldwide. They've started, but they had different reason. Like they couldn't get in because they were young and talented, but didn't have connections or money or producer who would quote unquote bet on, like, actually say that, okay, I believe in this guy. I'm gonna, try and put my money on it. No, it has to be guaranteed. The reason you see the same actors in different movies, only the reason is only the studio who knows it. It gets its money back. That's it. And that's not the same what's going on right now. But the outcome, I hope, will still be many new beautiful filmmakers and authors in any genre coming out of this.
Yeah, there's going to be a huge shift in the entertainment industry, honestly. I think I was reading this article today. You should Google it, called "The Death and Rebirth of Hollywood." It's on Medium. And, you're going to see theaters crumble, and you're probably going to see one of the big tech companies, Amazon or Apple or Netflix, possibly scoop up some of these theater chains because they're going to repeal the law. Like, studios couldn't own theaters. That's a law from like 1948. And that law is about to be repealed or something. And so you're going to see studios begin to purchase theaters and make them bigger experiences, like Amazon buying it and then throwing, Amazon retail goods in the theaters, as well as having merchandise for their own productions in the theaters. It's really, the industry is going to have a huge shift just because, the real estate for these theaters are multi-million-dollar leases every month and
if not day for some.
Yeah, and they can't. I mean, they can only go for so long. They don't have a ton of capital to support that for so long. So it's going to be really interesting. It's going to be a wild ride. Not going to lie.
Yeah. I think the industry, all industries are just going to have to change. I mean, people are in normal day-to-day 9 to 5. They are working now from home. And so industries are going to completely shift. And especially when it comes to us in the arts, we're going to have to just evolve to keep up with it, essentially.
Yeah.
But do you think, and I'd like to ask this question to all of you, do you think that, because it's obviously really hard for any newcomer in any industry to get noticed, to be seen by the people that they need to be seen by. And obviously, do you think that this time is really going to be a great time for people to start pushing themselves? And because we're all suddenly on the same level, nobody can do a live show. We're all doing exactly what each other are doing, like doing live streams and all that. Do you think this is going to be a great opportunity for people that haven't had that break to now get that break? I mean, anybody, I don't know about in any industry, really.
Yeah, I think so, because the talent that's already made it, they're gonna just ride the wave for now. Like they have enough income, they've made their name, and so they can actually just take a break essentially for a year and a half.
Right.
And
yeah.
I was reading that they're basically saying they're not going to come to set until it's safe. Essentially, a lot of talent. So I think you will see a lot of people rise up while everybody else is taking vacation, essentially. I think it's a great time to be doing stuff for sure.
Yeah. No, I'm totally with you. Listen, guys, we've literally gone over our hour. I think that's awesome. I love that. I love it when conversation keeps going, because I told you guys in the beginning, I'm big fans of all of you. So I'll just keep asking you questions till the cows come home. So if you guys are fine, just stay on for like another 5 minutes. Are you guys cool with that?
Absolutely.
I can see the sun setting behind you, Simon. I can see it.
It is
dark.
It's so pretty.
Very pretty. I'm not going to lie. Well, I'm gonna just. Is it okay with you guys if I just finish off the writers round bit now of the section? I'm gonna do that. But I'm obviously gonna
sing us a song, Piano Man.
I'm gonna sing us a song. You're the piano man. But I need to make sure that this guitar is tuned, because
my ukulele was violently out of tune, but it's okay.
Can you guys hear that? Oh, good. Is it too loud? I don't know, because I've got my sound card plugged in. Is it too loud?
I mean, everybody can just turn it down if it's too loud for them.
Yeah, we'll just turn down. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Anna. I'll just turn it down. That's hilarious. Well, I'm going to do a song that I wrote with a guy in South Africa called Loki Rothman. And I wrote the song on the piano. And I love the verses. I was having fun writing it. I took it to Loki and I said, just help me finish the song. And he literally helped me write this chorus. And it's called Brown Eyes. So I hope you guys like it. Hey, brown eyes, why you turning blue? Don't let those skies rain down on you. Know where you're going, I'm going to. And let my love guide you through. And even on a starless night, I'll leave a light on for you. And even in your darkest time, there's nothing I wouldn't do. And even if you fall behind, I'll slow the world down for you, yeah. Hey, brown eyes. Hey, brown eyes. There's just something about you. Yeah. Hey, brown eyes, quit looking down. You got all you need in this house. I'll be your roots and I'll be your clown. Let my love be your standing ground. And even on a starless night, I'll leave a light on for you. And even in your darkest time, there's nothing I wouldn't do. And even if you fall behind, I'll slow the world down for you. Yeah. Hey, brown eyes. Hey, brown eyes. There's just something about you. Yeah. Hey, brown eyes, don't you draw that line between your heart and a pretty mind. And even on a starless night, I'll leave a light on for you. And even in your darkest time, there's nothing I wouldn't do. And even if you fall behind, I'll slow the world down for you. Yeah. Hey, brown eyes. No. Hey, brown eyes. There's something about you. Hey, brown eyes. No. Yeah. Hey, brown eyes. There's just something about you. Yeah. Something about you. Yeah.
Woohoo!
Thank you. Thank you very much. I wrote that about my dog. She's a Yorkie and she's got brown eyes.
Aw.
So guys, I really do appreciate you. These comments are so nice. Look at that. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you so much for the comment. You guys have been so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show and just sharing your story, you know, encouraging us, encouraging each other, encouraging our viewers. So thank you so much for taking time out of your days to do that for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you for the beautiful
welcome.
music.
Oh, I mean, and yeah, and I can't wait for what else is coming out during these times. I mean, Wesley, you've still got. We were talking about a project that you're working on, a series as well. So,
Mhm.
so I mean, there's some fun things that are going to be coming out of this lockdown or this COVID-19 space. So keep an eye out, and we'll just share if anything happens. We'll be sharing. But before we close, we're at like 14 minutes over, which is so fun. Can we just go around the cafe? And can you guys, if you have just some parting words, they can be anything like drink vodka. I don't really. It can be or passing on some bit of wisdom, whatever it is. Is there something you'd like to just pass on to the viewers? Just some encouragement or something. Anna, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, first of all, I want to start with telling to all of you guys, Wes, do you sing?
No, well, no. I'm gonna
Okay,
say
I
no.
envy all of you guys except for Wes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nothing personal, just for the ability to sing, because this is something that I wish I had as my talent, but I don't. And I just, I'm like fascinated by all of you people creating the
Oh.
music and making this beautiful sounds with your voice. So thank you all. And I know Simon is shy, but he can sing. He's actually a
Yeah.
beautiful musician and singer
Yeah.
and has been on stage and all that, but he's really shy.
Oh.
Yeah, and to all of you guys who's watching, I mean, who are stuck, you know, as we are, or not, or being on the front line and keep going, please, we need you, we support you, and just, you know, I wish to all of us to stay kind to one another and just remember that regardless of what's gonna happen, just this, you know, smiles and faces that I see occasionally when I go out of my apartment to walk around the block, and people understanding and like caring about each other, that will get us through anything. And yeah.
Thank you.
And
Anna.
banana.
And banana. Thank you, Anna and Banana. Simon.
Oh, basically, I'd like to thank you for having me on your show, and nice to see everybody again and to meet Wes. Basically, just for everyone just to calm and be, breathe and relax and read a book and enjoy. I often pretend I'm in a Jane Austen book because they don't have any obviously electricity or anything like that. So I just often think, what would Jane Austen do?
I love that.
And literally it is. What else can you do apart from read, listen to some music, do a puzzle, just chill out? And we will never have this time again, as in you're allowed to not do anything. And I just I think I frequently, when I get a bit too negative or whatever, I think of it as a real positive, that I am actually allowed to not do anything. I am allowed to not hunt out work and be audition, crazy or do all that sort of manic stuff which you normally would have to do. Whereas you're just allowed to just chill for a bit and just, suck in the air and the sunshine or the rain or whatever, and drink. So,
hydrate. Stay hydrated.
Eat that cake.
And hydrate. Yeah. Hydrate, yes. And a quick question, Simon. Are you reading? What are you reading? Any books at the moment? What are you reading?
I am actually reading a couple of books, which I haven't.
Oh, good. Okay, because I'm a bit of a nerd, so yes.
I'm reading something called This May Hurt. It's going to hurt, or something like that. It's about a doctor who, in his first year out, or whatever they call it, is literally his diary. This is going to hurt, I think is what it's called. I'm reading that. I'm reading a book called Straight Jacket. And I'm still, it's sitting right there, is Andrew Lloyd Webber's biography, which I must finish. His autobiography, sorry. Which is, so just to get all the, his information from his mouth, basically. So there's about 3 books on the go.
Wow.
I love that. I only have one book. I've got 2 Netflix series, though.
I've got lots of Netflix. Lots of Netflix.
Well, Wes, do you have anything to say now? Just some parting words for us.
Yeah, for sure. So thanks for having me on. This has been fun. But I think probably the one thing I tell everybody is, if you want to do something, just go do the dang thing. And to your point, Simon, that it is nice that right now we can take a break, and that's fine. I think that's very great right now. But I think for a lot of people, if like for me, I just think of like things in my life. If I wanted to do something, then I just got buckled down and I was like, okay, how can I do that and make that happen? So it's just encouragement. Like don't get in your head too much. Don't, talk yourself down. Don't be afraid of what other people think and stuff. Because as soon as you put stuff out there, it lives, and it brings more work, and it builds your brand and everything. So that's probably my 2 cents.
Your 2 cents. I love that. And I love that you say don't get in your head. It's right, because we do. We're stuck in a room by ourselves and we just sort of spiral. That spiral, I'm sure we've all been down the spiral. It's important to connect with people who you trust with your heart and with your soul and your mind, to actually sort of build you up and to pull you out of the space when you can't. So thank you. That's very important. Thank you. Richard?
Thanks again. Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for listening to my song. I'm glad that I got to sing it for you too.
I'm glad we finally saw your mustaches.
I got the information from Evita, so thanks very much. But just to add on to what everyone's saying, like what Wes said and what Simon said, is treat yourself and treat everyone with kindness. And whatever you're going to do during this time, whether it's read a book, whether it's binge Netflix, or whether it's create in any way, let happiness be the driving force. Get up and do something that makes you happy. If lying on your back, binging movies the whole day is going to make you truly happy, do that. If writing a song is going to make you happy, then do that. The world needs more happiness and kindness.
Yes. Thank you. I totally agree with that. Thank you very much, Richard. And Belle, I know you popped in, and thank you so much for popping in, Belle. I really do appreciate it. But do you have any parting words for us?
One, it's very nice to see like 3 people who I toured China with and I haven't seen. So, hi.
Does Rosie want to say anything?
Okay, so I'll say one thing, and then Rosie will say the last thing. So for me, my 2 cents is in my office, and what I read every day, and it's dream big and love more.
Oh.
So that's my parting word, because I think that's important and that gets me going. And then, hello,
Hi,
Rosie. Rosie, you must do a parting wisdom.
Parting wisdom.
Well, before Rosie does that, I should actually say hi, Rosie. Should I introduce you to everybody?
Yeah, hello, Rosie.
Hi, Rosie.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. Like,
Hello.
Rosie deserves her own show. My goodness.
I should have my own show.
You should.
Yeah. Well,
I
Rosie,
want to do a show.
you know Anna?
Anna.
Yes? You know
And
Banana?
Anna.
And then you know Simon?
Simon, did we meet totally?
We did meet. It was in South Africa.
South Africa.
It was when I
And you were
sent the
trying
song to
to
everyone.
flirt with
That's right.
the other guy,
Yeah.
not Simon.
I remember that. Now
Oh
I
my
want to sing with you next time, Simon, not anyone else.
Good.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm a
organise
big fan. Hello, Richard.
and then you know Richard.
Yeah, and who are you? Is he the guy from that movie?
Yeah, he's the guy from the movie.
Hello,
Hello.
please.
Who do we with?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Rosie.
He's in the movies.
Rosie.
That's cool.
Yeah. Well, Rosie, I know you've been a very short time guest on our show right now. I'm very sorry. We should have brought you out
Yeah.
at least 2 hours before. But can you please give us some parting words that you think will, are important for our viewers to really take to heart and to go forward, for the rest of this COVID-19 time?
Yes, when parting the back of your hair, use a comb and maybe get someone to help you.
No, not parting your hair, parting, like leaving words. Like wisdom.
Be wise and sanitize.
Aww.
Wait, we've actually got a comment here. Rosie for president. Yes.
Nice. I look just like Donald
Which
Trump.
country? I want her too. So I'm sorry. No,
All of
Russia
the
needs a
countries.
president.
All of the countries.
It's just gonna become
Woman,
Rosie
fluffy, squishy president for Russia,
Yeah.
please. Now.
I am one for the people.
Thank you so much for coming out, Rosie. I really do
I have you
appreciate
as president, by the way.
it. There's your sidekick, Banana.
Vice President.
No, Vice
The
President.
first banana.
I love it. Thank you. Well, thank you so much, guys, for spending this last hour and a half with me talking about everything. I really do appreciate your time and your talents. Thank you for inspiring us in different ways. So thank you very much, guys, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. I'm gonna do this, and then I'm gonna go one by one. There we go. Thank you so much for watching Alexandra May's Music Cafe, guys. I hope you had a great time. Hope you sort of learned something new, something different. If you have any questions or comments, you just pop them in the comment section, and we'll get back to you. And if you want to get in touch with these guys, they've all got their own social media pages, so go and give them a follow. But for now, stay safe, guys. Bye.
I ain't no typical girl. I ain't no typical girl.